This tutorial was brought to you thanks to the supporters on the screen. Check out TAPgiles.com to find more Dreams resources, donate to support my work, or engage my services to get private instruction or help on a project one-on-one. In the previous tutorial, linked in the description, we created a simple golf putting mechanic. Now we'll polish the physics and detect if the ball is in the hole. You can see it kind of a bit bumpy. That's because of the physics. So if we go into the physics tab, if you click on these, you can see that it's actually made of lots of spheres, which is used to simulate the physics for its sculpt when it's movable or inside a movable group. So it's all like bumpy because there's a lot of spheres there, but because this itself is a spherical object, we can put this down to low and it will use just one blob, one sphere, to simulate physics, and it will be like it's a perfectly round ball. So now if we play time, it didn't even rock or move at all, but we also, because this is possessible, we need to possess it. So let's turn on force possession and play mode, and now push up the hill with X. Nice, and then let's see if it actually comes to a halt. The thing is, if it's actually spherical, then it will roll for a really long time on a flat surface. Make this remote controllable again. Tap X. So it just has perfect momentum sort of thing. I don't think friction would affect this though, because it's not sliding. So what I'll try instead is, while it's touching the ground, it'll have some natural friction to it, some natural damping to it. So again, we can use a mover to slow it down, have the target speed 0 and just a small amount of damping, and that will just slow it over time. So let's try that then. Press X. So it's just slowing itself naturally, but also when it's falling through the air, it will also slow itself, which looks pretty weird. So we'll have it, let's find out if it's on the ground, if it's touching something. Impact sensor with touching. So if it's touching something, then it's going to slow itself down, which isn't perfect, but it's probably fine for what we need it for. So let's just put that way up in the air. Oh yeah. Let no one tell you TAPgiles doesn't know how to damp stuff. Boom. Like a man. Take that. It just slows itself down. Let's have like a ramp maybe. It's moving fine, and then it has some damping. So yeah, you want this to be very subtle, I think. So you can just adjust this however you want until it's all sorted. Maybe you have it so that if it's below a certain amount of speed, similar to this, so you can put this out here. Oh, let's have a node first. And then if the velocity is less than that, for example, or actually we could have it kind of ramp up. So if you use a signal manipulator with custom remapper mode over here, then you can say between 0 and this amount, then we'll kind of scale up. As it gets slower, the damping should be higher, so let's invert that. So when it's 0, it's powering this a lot. When it's 0.82 it's powering it not at all, and then it kind of scales between those. So let's just wire that into here, which is a little bit more efficient as well because it won't even test the impact, whether it's touching something, unless it's going slower than a certain amount. And we can have this, press X on here to use ease in, which means when it's down here it's more likely to, like, even when it's 50% through it will be quite low, and when it's 100% through it will be high. So it kind of has an ease in effect just based on the values coming in. So that might be the kind of thing you want to do. So let's have like a hole. Don't know how big the board is, so I'll just make it that big. And then we can have a zone in here. Probably want to have it a square so that we can have a flat top to it. Looking for the ball. Let's move that tag though. Cool. And it will output from tag output when it's in the hole. So then we can use that to damp it, maybe damp it in Y so that it doesn't bounce out or something. And we have that powered when this comes in. We could just have it be pulling it down or something. So if I have this pointing down, then it will pull it down kind of subtly to make it not bounce. So if we make it really bouncy, maybe you can see the difference. High bounciness. Turn off the strength there. So that can bounce right out. So if we have that, then it will kind of pull it down more once we're in there. But obviously this probably will have very low bounce or no bounce at all. But if there's like a really high energy hit and it like hits the corner of it, and then it might bounce out, and then it will think it's registered. It'll like say, oh, you made the hole, but then it bounces out and it will be a bit silly. So that kind of thing can work. And yeah, so then you can activate your scoring or something like that. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new. Go to patreon.com/TAPgiles to get 5 hours of tutorials early for $3. Here's a preview of what you can learn if you choose to become a supporter.
you.